Welcome, beautiful soul. It's time to remember who we are. You were born for this moment, this breath. Nature teaches us and reminds us that whatever it is that we are searching for, that whatever our hearts and souls are longing for, we must know our unlimited power and worth. It's all already within us. So thank you for saying yes to this moment. Thank you for saying yes to this journey. And most of all, thank you for saying yes to yourself. Welcome, beautiful soul. Welcome, beautiful soul. Today we're going to be talking about how can we return to love. There's so much happening in this world. There's so much information, and our own design as humans is that we want to know, and so much is unknown in this world. I am here today to talk about how in the midst of so much shifting and changing, there is a pathway within us to return to love. Before we go further, I like to always start with breath. So I invite you, if you are able to safely close your eyes, you're not driving, and let's breathe. So with our eyes closed, I want you to simply notice your breath moving in and out of your nostrils. Without trying to change it, we're simply breathing, allowing beautiful breath to come in and exhaling out all that we don't need. This is our time to give thanks to ourselves for being present. This is our time to thank the breath of life moving in us, through us, with us, and evident all around us. And as we're breathing, I want you to imagine that every breath that you are taking in is nourishing you, every facet of your being, with all that is for you, with all that uplifts you, all that replenishes you. And know that every exhale is a release of all that is no longer needed. Any stress, any worry, any tension that we've been carrying, knowingly or even unknowingly, we simply let it go. Inviting more ease, more gentleness, more compassion. And so now we're going to end with just one of those 5-5-5 breaths. We're going to inhale for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 5. So if you're able to, go ahead and deeply inhale. And hold it. And slowly let go. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes. I always say the breath is such a delicious part of our time together. And I want to thank you for making time, because it's so wonderful to know that you are open to listening and to sharing and being here, because we believe that this message, this podcast, is all for you. That's why it's named Beautiful Soul. We see you as a beautiful soul. So many times we've been told that who we are is our exterior. Who we are is what someone else has defined, what someone else has called us. And we're here today to remind us that the one essence that we all share in is as beautiful soul, that is who we are. So today, talking about returning to love. Now that's a mouthful right there, because returning to love means we're coming back to something. And if we're coming back to love, then that means we started there. And I'm here to say, yes, that's exactly where we started. We started in who we are at our core is truly love. Now, if you look around, if you read the news, if you are scrolling through the news, if you turn on the news, the message that I'm pretty sure you may be hearing is one that often lacks a core anchor in love. Instead, it is steeped in a vibration and a frequency that says we don't have enough, we need to get more, and here are the ways to go after it. And those ways are usually very counter to our real essence as love. Now, right now, we are living in a time where so much is moving. And if you can relate to this, then you can raise your hand. I won't be able to see it, but I'll know that you raised your hand. If you are someone who likes to know the outcome of things before you step forward, who likes to know the outcome? Who likes to know how something's going to turn out before you decide to dive in? Or maybe even once you have entered the waters and you find yourself either swimming or floating or treading water or just trying to stay above the water and not go under, then maybe you know what it's like to have that urge, that thirst, that hunger to need to figure it out. And if you're that person, I want you to tell me, how is it going so far? Living life, trying to figure it out. And if I were to go back and be able to somehow show you my story of where I started, you would see so many episodes, so many chapters, so many examples of me believing that I had it figured out. Not only was I trying to figure out, I would have told you that I had it figured out. That's exactly what I thought. I thought, you know what, my life is going exactly the way I want. Well, maybe not exactly, but I felt like I had a really good handle on it, that I really knew how to conquer this thing called life. And that's really how I viewed it. And so it was very much driven by my profession. Back during this time, I was working as a television news anchor and reporter, and time was always basically the currency in which we operated. You had to hurry up and get your stories completed, hurry up and make sure that you produced the package, hurry up and get through the newscast, and make sure you hit the commercial breaks in time. It was all based on time, and viewing time as something that was constantly leaving. And so I took that energy and I looked at life as something as though I need to keep going before I run out of time. I need to get this done before whatever happens next, before I jump into the next thing. And I was so up in the cerebral part of my being. And if you understand that, then you can raise your hand again. That belief that if I know it, if I can define it, then I'm anchored and I'm okay. Well, can I tell you, at the root of all of that, because here's where we're going today, that need to know that need to have it figured out, that need to see the outcome, to need to know that it's safe on the other side before you take the leap, is rooted in fear. Yes, it's rooted in fear. And I remember when someone first told me that, I thought, you're crazy. Like, it's not rooted in fear. I just like to be organized. I just like to understand it. I just like to have it figured out. Well, why? Why was I scared? Because, hello, I had been hurt before. I'd been disappointed. I've been betrayed. I've been let down. And so what I was essentially doing was living as though the other shoe was going to drop. It's almost like holding your breath without even knowing that you're holding your breath. That's what I was doing. And so that fear, that feeling as though the ground is going to fall out beneath me if I stop for a moment, if I don't keep going, if I don't keep a handle on things. All of that energy, can I tell you, is the opposite of who we are as love. It's the opposite of what we are called to experience truly. Okay, now let's go a little deeper now into why we push against this unknown, why this fear is so familiar to us, why we so want to stay in a place where we can't be hurt. And all of that is an illusion. You know, when we lived through the height of COVID-19, and if we rewind and we were able to look back at this pretty much shared experience. Now, we went through it in different ways, but we all had a shared experience of a time where everything was shut down. And when it was shut down, we didn't have a memo that said it is going to be shut down for 18 hours. Like you might get a little memo that says like your account is going to be shut down for maintenance for the next 20 minutes or for the next 2 hours, or tomorrow it's not going to work and we know that. And you know when it's going to end. Or if the electricity goes out. Thankfully, for most of us who are watching this podcast, we live in a space that when the electricity goes out, we normally have a confidence that eventually it's going to come back on. Well, when we were all stuck home, we didn't have the memo of when it would end. We all hoped, we all had an idea, but we didn't know. And what surfaced for many people, and many of the people that I was supporting, coaching, counseling, going through it, was that for the first time they had to admit, I don't like facing the unknown. And what I would say back is, well, tell me what is known. And they would describe things like, well, I know when I go to work, and I know when I come home. And I would challenge that and say, do we really? Do we really know? Or we think we know because it's familiar. And we can confuse the familiar with having a certainty of outcome. All of this is in the realm of the natural, the physical realm. And yes, there are certain laws that if you throw something up in the air and there's gravity, it's going to fall back down. But when it comes to our human experiences, there's a lot that's unknown. Well, the good news is, I don't believe that we're human. You can put your seatbelt on or maybe take it off, and we'll really get more clear and honest here. What do I mean by that? I believe we are so much more than human. I believe that we are truly energy. We are truly spirit. We are truly an essence that cannot even fully be articulated with words. And I have let go, and it is a letting go, of the old conditioned tapes that said, Michanda, when you understand it, you can control it and then you're safe. Because that means that I always have to control it so that I can always stay safe. And all of that is just taking me further and further and further away from this place called love. Because how many of you know that to come home to who we are as love means a letting go of fear and control? Fear and love do not walk hand in hand. Love, and I'm going deeper than romantic love, which is beautiful and lovely. I'm talking about the essence of seeing through a lens of wholeness, seeing ourselves as already complete, already enough, already connected to all that is, without a scarcity, an emptiness, with an openness. An openness to trust, hello, trust, to believe, hello, believe, to hope, hello, hope, to share, to be vulnerable, to give without expectation, for peace and joy. All of that comes all the way back to our true essence of love. And swimming far away from that means buying in to the illusion that something else is going to give you your peace, your joy, your comfort, that you want to put your faith and your belief in something that is quantifiable, that's tangible, that's dependable. And can I tell you that there's no warranty when it comes to living as love? You know, when you buy something from the store, and if it's anything in that, electronic realm, most of the time you're going to be asked, do you want to purchase an extended warranty? And it's up to us whether we decide we want the extended warranty or not. And that's supposed to make us feel confident that if there's an issue, we can bring it back, get our money back, have it fixed, repaired, or replaced. Well, living and being means letting go of our need to have an assurance in the natural, an assurance that we can hold and touch. Now, we're so used to, can I smell it, taste it, see it, feel it, hear it? Then it's real. But when we slow it down, your spirit, you beautiful soul, know that there's so much more than what can be seen. There's so much more than what can be understood. There's so much more than what we've been told. And that means remembering that in addition to our name being love, it means I trust. And that's huge. When we remember, because we raised our hands and we know what it's like to have been hurt, to have been let down, to have been disappointed, let down in the way that makes us feel like we can't get back up, that kind of let down. However, some of us have already understood that every experience is tailor-made so that we can learn that everything we need is already inside of us. Everything. Because what's really inside of us is the knowing that we are one with all. That means I don't need to look outside of me to make myself better. I don't need to add more to me to be better. Now, that's different than everything in the commercial world that will tell us, no, you need all this stuff to be better. You need to be like so-and-so next to you to be better. No, what we truly need is to remember. Because deep down, your essence, you beautiful soul, you know that there is far more than what we can see and understand. And in that space, all is possible now. Because now we're entering into the place and the dimension called presence. And presence, even though this need to know mind of ours that likes to spin and keep going, is a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of who we really are. Because who we really are when it comes to trusting is knowing that as one with all, not only are my needs already met, I already am exactly where I'm called to be. How do I know it? Because I'm here. Wherever we are, it's already all okay. Why? Because I'm breathing in this moment. That does not guarantee you that each moment is comfortable. And that's what we really want. We want to be assured that I'm going to be comfortable and not hurt and okay. And being love means not keeping score, not just with another person, but even in life. Well, remember that one time this happened to me, and that other time, and that other time. Even in scriptures, it talks about beholding all things as new. That means even the simple things that seem so familiar and mundane to us, can I find within it and look within it and decide that it is a new moment. Why? Because it is a new moment. You've never been in this moment before. Your mind will try to say, yes, I've been in something like this before. I remember this. And all it can do is go backwards. The real remembering I want us to do is remembering from the spirit, heart, soul place that says, I am well. I am enough. I am light. I am peace. And I am called to go forward one breath at a time. That's what it means to live without seeing with the natural eyes. It means believing. Now, when our egos get involved and decide that, hey, I know how to handle this so you don't get hurt. I know what you should say back. I know what you should do. I know how you should answer so you don't appear vulnerable, so that no one takes advantage of you, so that you're not hurt. And I've told you this, and I hope you remember this, that when the ego drives the car, we always end up in a ditch. Because our egos aren't designed to be in presence. Now, we started this time together, breathing, quiet. How comfortable are you in the quiet space? How comfortable are you in stillness? It may ebb and flow, and hopefully, with practice, we are able to grow our capacity for stillness. Because the monkey mind, the ego that wants to spin, dissect, define, describe, is not capable of dropping down to this beautiful place where we know all is well. Whenever you are feeling tense, unsure, anxious, worried, stressed, scared, here's one thing you can always do. Breathe. Truly breathe. Intentionally breathe. Deepen the breath. There are lots of formulas for breath. Some people do a 4, 6, 7. You know what? I like to just say 5, 5, 5 so you can remember it. You don't have to think about it. And the whole idea is not about the count. It's simply about intentionally being mindful to put my attention on an inhale that's long enough for me to suspend the goings on of the mind, and holding it enough so that I feel it in my lungs, in my heart, in my inner self. I feel it as I'm holding it. And then slowly extending that exhale so that our shoulders drop away from our ears. And we're reminded we're okay. Because in that place, when you're breathing quietly, pausing, entering into stillness like a lovely yes to an invitation that's come on your doorstep. And when you open it and you say yes to that invitation, yes, I'm going to breathe, that's where you connect to the deep part of you that knows. Capital K, knows. Not knows with the mind, but knows with your essence. And that's where love lives. That's where presence lives. It doesn't live in, I'll be okay as long as I can see it. It's not a contract. It's not a warranty. It's not, I'll be your friend unless you've done this X, Y, and Z. And there's so many articles that you can find that say, is this person good for you? And is this person not good for you? And this is what you do in the criteria. Life is not a checklist. What we can do in each now moment, and hear me again, I said each now moment, not here's my formula and here's what I'll do in all of these situations, if this, then that. It's not a geometry theorem. What it is accumulation of now moments. And the only one you can be in is this one. And in this one, you have a choice. Am I going to open and trust? Because the reward of doing so, I'm not talking natural rewards or, a reward like externally. I'm talking the beauty, the gift is the experience, and knowing that every experience has so much for us. Now, if you still believe life is happening to you, this message may be challenging to hear, because then you want to protect yourself. You want to define who's with me, who's against me. You want to define the us group, the they group, the them group. And you're going to be living according to so many divisions, so many polarities, so much need to know. And can I tell you, when we look at this universe, this multiverse, there's far more of what we don't know. And so if you want to live in the land of what you do know, you've already narrowed it down and you're in a place of limitation. And if that's what you want to choose, you can choose that. I'm here to tell you there's so much more. And it's worth the practice of opening, of letting go of what happened yesterday, of what someone did to you yesterday, and letting that color and shape and mold what you believe may happen in front of you. There are countless opportunities in front of us. And our mind could never calculate every single one of them. I don't care how great AI and the algorithms are, there's still an outcome that wasn't predicted. Because that's how fabulous this multiverse is. And all of you who like to use AI, there's nothing wrong with that. Just as long as you remember that what's inside of us, when we tap into who we are possibilities that haven't even been thought of. Because it's beyond thought. We're transcending thought to being, love, open, coming home to kindness. There's so much vitriol right now. There's so much name calling. It's painful. It's like nails on a chalkboard for me. And I'm here to remind us that everything within us, every imagination, every intention, every word, every action, our very essence is a seed. And if we want to see more peace And love in this world, it starts with looking at ourselves and starting here and remembering the pathway to navigating the unknown is coming home and deciding the only one I can influence is me. The only one I can trust is me, and not trust me to have a wall up and not trust me to have it defined and figured out, but to trust me in each now moment to listen and tap into the still quiet knowing within me that will always guide me through. All I need to do is pause a little bit, lower the noise that's spinning in my head a little bit, turn that volume down enough so I can hear the inner truth. And you will know you've tapped into that inner truth when the message that you hear, that you perceive, that you sense is one of encouragement, of uplifting, of confirmation and assurance that you are okay. That's when you know you've tapped in. Now, when you hear the message of, oh my gosh, it's all about to fall apart, most likely that's the ego, that's the mind, that's fear. That's the collective energy that we often associate with. But there's more. Simply breathe and know that at your core, you are already connected to all that supports you. You are connected to all that provides for you everything that is needed in each now moment. Not everything that we think we need, but everything that is needed in each now moment. What's needed in each now moment is different than what our egos will tell us. Sometimes what's needed in each now moment is a reminder to let go of our dependence on seeing it the way we want it to be. Our association with expectations and outcomes lead us further away from who we are as peace, as love. And this is the time. Now is the time to answer yes to this invitation that says, are you ready to return home to who you are as love? Are you ready to trust that you are enough in each moment? Are you ready to trust that breath will see you to the place of remembering that I am truly connecting to presence, and in presence, the guidance that is waiting for me is always there. The answer I'm looking for is always there. It's not there ahead of time. It's there in each breath and each step and each moment when we drop down to the inner heart, the inner soul, the inner spirit. So I invite you to keep practicing. I invite you to make space for more gentleness, to let go of the either or, to make space for the and here I am in this moment, and here I am, and I am love. And when I want to retaliate with sarcasm, when I want to retaliate with shutting down, with being passive aggressive, with giving you a little bit of what I got, I remember I am love. I am love. You are love, beautiful soul. You are love. You are loved. And you are here as love. So make space to listen and know the pathway is always inside of you to return home to who we really are. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you like this video. I hope you subscribe. I hope you share, because it is our desire here to see this message spread and spread and grow. Thank you, beautiful soul. Thank you, beautiful soul, for remembering who we are and for making time and space to be with us today as you go forward on your journey. to the known and unknown places, continue to listen to your inner heart and honor your soul, because your answers are always within you. Please consider supporting us in spreading more light and love with this message by simply liking the video below, subscribing, and consider sharing as well. Most of all, take gentle care and breathe. We see you. We thank you. Beautiful soul.